Freedom Front Plus say that they will not vote for any other mayoral candidate other than Cilliers Brink. There have been reports that the ANC has reached out to the party. Let's find out what their expectations are today. My co-anchor, Naledi, is with the Freedom Front Plus Tshwane caucus leader in the city of Tshwane. Naledi, so again, the Freedom Front Plus being right in the center of this coalition negotiations, but also the ANC reportedly having conversations with them.
Absolutely. You'd remember, Aldrin, that it was on the 26th of September when the Democratic Alliance had their protest and their march out here in support of Cilliers Brink ahead of the vote of no confidence. But they weren't alone. They were also with the Freedom Front Plus. And on that day, we did also get a chance to speak to Mr. Grandi Theunissen, who is the Freedom Front Plus Tshwane caucus leader. And some rumors is going around saying that the Freedom Front Plus may have been in conversation with the ANC. We're going to get clarity now. Mr. Theunissen, a good morning to you. Thank you so much for joining us. In the run-up to this vote, has the Freedom Front Plus spoken to the African National Congress?
Good morning, Naledi. No, we have not had any official discussions with any party at this stage.
So at no point did the ANC even approach the Freedom Front Plus and say, well, help us garner some numbers here so that we can take control?
They did reach out to us and asked us whether we would be willing to participate in some discussions, and we indicated yes. But that was all. And since then, nothing has happened. We've had no conversation with any other party. So we are still out in the dark.
So how was it that they would reach out and say, let's have a conversation, and then just disappear? What happened?
Maybe it's because of what's in the media, that we said where we are standing in terms of this election. And we're sticking with that right now. We are not voting for a party, we are voting for the best interest of the city in terms of the person that we think is the right person to lead that. And I must say, Cilliers Brink has been proved himself over the last 18 months of following a collective management style, and that's what we agree with. There's no sort of dictatorship or that he presses his policies down on us. It's always been collective. He approaches the different parties when there are important decisions to be taken, and we do a collective decision. And that's for that reason, and the reason that we feel that we've been making a difference, things have been changing and improving in Tshwane. We will back Cilliers Brink for this election.
What about the concern that backing the Democratic Alliance then might very well put you back into the opposition position, right? And that, you know, the numbers here may not work in your favor, that should ActionSA strike a deal with the ANC, perhaps even with the EFF, that might leave you very much in the cold?
Well, for us, first of all, it's not about positions. It's about serving the community. And if we need to serve the community from the opposition benches, we are more than willing to do that, and we are prepared to do that, because it's not about our own position or our party's position. Our party is there, and we're a solid party. We've got integrity, and when we undertake something, we see it through. So if it means that we have to sit in the opposition benches to deliver what we promised to our voters out there, we will do that with dignity.
Would there have been a willingness to work with the African National Congress, considering that even if you look at government of national unity at national level, it was the African National Congress that opened the invitation for parties to form a GNU, and the Freedom Front Plus joining that invitation by the ANC, not by the Democratic Alliance. Should the conversation, or had the conversation have taken place between the ANC and Freedom Front Plus here in Tshwane, would you have considered working with the ANC?
Well, obviously we did say we are open for discussions. We've never said we will not. Obviously that will also go with some conditions, which we feel is important to us to participate in such a government of, let's say, local unity. And the conditions would be, first of all, that we would need a contract in place. We need rules in place. How do we deal with certain stuff? When we have a dispute, how do we deal with that? And the parties must agree to that. And that's one of the things that ActionSA ActionSA let us down with. They did not stick to our agreement. So we will have to have some form of an agreement, and that's what they said when they did approach us. Yeah, they will propose, they have a document that they will propose to us, which we requested it, but we didn't receive anything up until date.
Two questions where ActionSA is concerned. We're hearing that Herman Mashaba, the leader of ActionSA, will be here today to keep an eye on what happens with this vote for a mayor of the city of Tshwane. That's the first question would be, what is your message to Herman Mashaba, considering the position that you feel ActionSA has taken? And then what do you make of the candidate that they've put forward for the position of mayor, Nasipi Moya, the quality of leadership that you think she could offer?
Well, as far as Herman Mashaba is concerned, you made your bed, sleep in it. We will see in 2026 what the outcome of your decisions would be. That's my message to Herman Mashaba. In terms of Nasipi Moya, I've been a colleague with her for quite some time, but the one thing I can say that is still a cloud over her head, she, when she took office, she had to pay back 10,000 Rand, which she received from the city for travel assistance when she was an employee. And she never paid it back. She only paid it back when her position came about. So that's something to think about.
And still some time. I mean, a lot of people saying that negotiations really happen till the very last minute, right? Any conversation that you're looking to have before 10 o'clock?
Well, we haven't been approached. I think if we are approached, because we are seen as a stable partner in coalitions, and a reasonable partner, excuse me, in coalitions, I think the Freedom Front can play an important role in maybe facilitating some further discussions between the ANC and the Democratic Alliance. And we will participate if we are given the opportunity.
Grandi Theunissen, thank you so much for speaking to us. We really, really do appreciate your time. Mr. Grandi Theunissen is, of course, the Freedom Front Plus's Tshwane caucus leader, saying they were asked by the African National Congress to have a conversation, and then no follow-up happened at that point. And, of course, going into this vote today, they still continue to support Cilliers Brink, and he's being fielded as a mayoral candidate here in Tshwane.